let's move on to something a lot more fun, shall we?
Okay,
And we've got 4.5 minutes to talk about Onward. So, I know you've rehearsed the plot. Please go ahead.
I've not rehearsed
No, because you've already done it this morning, and I found it's quite a big plot.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll make it simple for you. So, imagine a world where once upon a time, magic was thriving.
So I like to think that was this one, but never mind.
No. But as the years pass, magic's died down and people forget the powers that they possess. Well, Onward, which is the new Pixar offering, is the story of two teenage elf brothers called Ian and Barley. They go on a journey to discover if there is a little bit of magic left out there in order to spend one last day with their father who died when they were too young to remember.
All right, we're going to get Warrior Z90 fit. Let me hear you say, I'm a mighty warrior.
I'm a mighty warrior. Morning, Mom.
Lazy, down, bad dragon. Back to your lair.
Happy birthday, Mr. Adult Man.
Oh, Mom. Hey, buddy, don't wipe off my kisses.
What?
You're wearing your dad's sweatshirt.
Oh, finally fits.
Oh, my little chubby cheeks is all grown up.
Okay, Mom, I gotta eat something before school.
And of course, this is all instigated by, is it Ian, who's Tom Holland?
Holland, yeah.
Is it 16th
Who has a
birthday?
bit of, it's his 16th birthday, has a little bit of magic in him. His brother suddenly doesn't, but is totally into his sort of Dungeons and Dragons style games and stuff like that, which is actually I suppose it's
sort
reflection of real life in
it's
this
sort of
magical
based
land.
in reality, isn't it? It's like us and medieval stuff. They have magic kind of thing in the same way.
Yeah.
Right, I did have a few notes on this one because I was fascinated by how this was
really liked
constructed.
this, didn't you?
I really love this. First of all, I think it is Zootopia with magical creatures. I think that's the basis.
Ooh,
I think it then uses that platform to springboard a relatively more conventional story, a madcap, a more conventional story in the way that Brave did. Brave took medieval and then did a body swap movie. This takes mystical and then does Weekend at Bernie's.
Okay.
On top of that, I do think it's effectively a Pixar animated version of Orange County, complete with a Colin Hanks character in the form of Tom Holland and a Jack Black character in the form of Chris Pratt going on a road trip and going on this madcap adventure together. I loved it. I thought it had all the feels. I thought it had a lot of humour that really lands. It had a great cast. Octavia Spencer, Julie Louis-Dreyfus. Big fan of the chemistry between Tom Holland and Chris Pratt, who I keep calling Chris Pine. I don't mean to. I just loved it. I had all the tears at the end. We were on the row in the picture house watching this film, and literally it was just this echo chamber of sniffles.
Yeah.
And we knew that they weren't coronavirus because everyone was streaming.
I kind of get where you're going with this. There's nothing. It's a very capable film. It's there is really good stuff about it. I just think when you're looking at what Pixar does as a portfolio of films, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, WALL-E, Up, this doesn't sit on that shelf.
Right. I just want to point out, first of all, I've never gotten on with Ratatouille.
No, I'm not saying that they've made everything is brilliant, but in their entire portfolio, that you have the iconic classics.
Yeah.
It's not going to sit up there. Inside Out, it's not going to sit up there with those.
Oh, I don't think this is Inside Out level at all. No. Inside Out is borderline masterpiece. WALL-E is borderline masterpiece.
Yeah. Toy Story is a masterpiece.
The Toy Story movies, yes. Up will break a human being inside of 3 minutes. I can attest to that. Myself and Chris Wilson destroyed as human beings within 3 minutes
destroyed
of
out of
Up.
that. This, for me, is... What you mentioned about Zootopia, or Zootropolis, as we've kind of had it over here.
Which is it Zootropolis here
and
Zootopia in the US?
Yeah. For me, it doesn't have as many belly laugh moments as Zootropolis, whatever the hybrid.
I will say, though, I think the reason you might not think it has those belly laughs, and I did, is because this is rooted in a very specific subset of nerd culture, which I don't personally experience, but I have so many friends who do. So when they start cracking jokes about the gelatinous cube and things like that stuff slays. That stuff. If I showed this to Calvin Prickett, he'll roll out the seat dying.
But that is, in terms of a general audience.
Yeah.
That doesn't hit. Those don't land, right? Okay, that's for a niche audience that's going to watch that. And I'm like, brilliant. If it hits a certain person and they get it and they find it and it's a 5-starer for them, fantastic, right?
It's like having Jeremy Clarkson turn up in Cars and they make very specific Top Gear jokes.
Yeah.
It's that level of humour, but applied to Dungeons and Dragons fans, effectively.
Fine. So I totally see where you're coming from on this, but I think from a general audience perspective, you'll feel like there's something missing, but you might not be able to put your finger on it. The animation is great, but it's not brilliant in comparison to other stuff that I've seen from Pixar. Pixar, that short movie that Pixar did about the Bao Buns.
Oh, I love that. It's just called Bao, isn't it?
For Bao, yeah. So that, in 15 minutes, you get everything and so much more. This, in an hour and 42, you kind of get a bit of everything, but it never sort of touches the sides, essentially. That's the way I feel about it. However, really enjoyable. Kids, visually stimulating. You will enjoy it, kids. Yes, there are enough laughs, generic laughs, for a general audience that will sit. So it doesn't falter on that path in any sort of way, shape, or form. My gripe with this is just that it's not even a gripe, it's just an observation.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if this does the business to get it to that top level, that top shelf of Toy Story, WALL-E, Up, Inside Out. I don't think it will do that.
I don't think its remit is anywhere near as broad as those things. But I do think, in terms of something you'd compare it to, I would say this would be the male equivalent to Brave for me.
Okay.
I think
in which case, Van Connor, I would say to you, you need to be less frivolous with your 5 stars when you're.
Oh no,
I
still think it's a 5-star.
Do you?
Absolutely. This is a 2 thumbs up from me. I had a whale of a time with it.
1 3/4.
I had a
from me.
magical time. 1 3/4.
1 3/4.
1 3/4. Okay, well, 2 magic ones from me.